6 stories at 6 with me, Akanksha Khajure. And this evening, as we bring you top stories from around the world, our focus will be on the technical snags in Boeing 787 Dreamliners. First up, we'll tell you about how 2 Air India Boeing 787 Dreamliners have suffered technical snag in the last 12 hours. Moving on, we'll also tell you about a big scare for Saudi Airline as flight smoke and sparks were seen coming out of the wheel during the landing in Lucknow. We have the ground report for you. Also, we have updates on the investigation in the plane crash tragedy. DNA testing and the probe in this entire incident is currently underway. And right now, the last rites of former Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani is also underway. We'll get you more details on that as well. Next, West Asia is on the boil again. Attack and counter-attacks have been happening in the last 4 days. We have the details on that as well. And finally, Prime Minister has left for Canada and he will be participating in G7 summit. These are all the top stories that we are tracking for you at 6 at 6. Let's get started. All right, so the first story that we have for you this evening, in the last 12 hours, in fact, 2 Boeing 787 Dreamliners have suffered technical snag. Air India flight AI-315 operating a Boeing 787 Dreamliner from Hong Kong to Delhi was forced to return mid-air after a technical issue was detected on board. The engine indication and the crew alerting system, that is EICAS, flagged the fuel filter bypass alert on engine 2, indicating a potential fuel system malfunction. Few hours later, in fact, another Air India Boeing 787 detected the technical snag. Now, there's a global concern and scrutiny on Air India as multiple planes have detected such technical issues, in fact. All right, so we'll tell you about what has happened today in the last 12 hours. In fact, 2 major incidents have happened. Firstly is about this Air India flight that was coming from Hong Kong to the national capital. It had to turn back. It had to take a U-turn. This is the first flight, and a major tragedy has been averted. Technical glitch in Boeing 787. Very important to highlight that this is the same Dreamliner 787 that suffered tragedy 4 days back. As far as this is concerned, engine system flagged the fuel issue. The Hong Kong flight took a U-turn. EICAS alerted crew mid-air, and pilot took a decision and took a U-turn mid-air and went back to Hong Kong. Let's tell you about another, in fact, incident that has come to the fore. Today, in the last 12 hours, 2 such incidents have happened. The next one is about the flight from Zurich to the national capital. What we're learning is that it also developed technical issues and had to, in fact, revert to the international airport where it was coming from. All right, so these are the issues that have come to the fore as far as these 2 incidents are concerned. This raises a lot of questions on Dreamliner 787 because remember 4 days back there was an incident, a massive tragedy in which 241 people have lost their life. That was also Dreamliner 787. And today in the last 12 hours, 2 incidents related to that Dreamliner has come to the fore, raising a lot of questions. All right, so as you can see, these are the 2 visuals that we are also getting for you. The first incident was that of Hong Kong flight that took off from Hong Kong at 9:20 is what we're learning in the morning, and 9 minutes later at 9:29 it took a U-turn and came back to Hong Kong after there was a technical glitch. Few hours later, another incident has come to the fore, and this time from the Zurich International Airport. The same Dreamliner faced a similar issue and had to turn back. Let me go across to aviation expert J. Venkateshwara Rao. Sir, thank you so much for speaking to Republic TV. In the last 12 hours, we have seen two incidents related to Dreamliner 787 come to the fore. Very concerning news that has come from Hong Kong and also Zurich. And this comes in the backdrop of that same Dreamliner 787 facing issue and 241 people losing their life. Do you believe there needs to be accountability that now Boeing officials need to take? Air India, rather than giving templated reply, should take responsibility and carry out inspection of these Dreamliners?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, as per the standards, the aircraft need to go for checks after every few hours that they fly, depending on the component, depending on the number of landings and takeoff. These are laid down guidelines which need not be breached. But sometimes we overlook certain things and then it leads to a catastrophe, as that happened at Ahmedabad. Here, at least the pilot took a decision. Once the EICAS indication came in, he decided to return back to Hong Kong and not venture coming into Delhi. So that's one good thing for the pilot to have used his presence of mind to go back. Second thing is, these are all issues. We need to find out what went wrong, why did it bypass? So that is one thing I think they will have to investigate. Once the aircraft landed in Hong Kong, they would have definitely looked at it to understand why this thing happened. So we'll have to wait. If Air India is honest and clear, they will come up and say this was the reason. And as usual, transparency will help Air India go a long way.
Absolutely.
In gaining the public confidence and also enhance their image. So that I guess they should conduct regular checks that need to be done. And like I said, in fact, in between we were having discussions of whether, let me make it very clear, Air India had one of the best engineers in the world. But unfortunately, due to political pressures and whatever, we have lost our place in the industry, and it's really sad. So I hope that all checks are thoroughly conducted on all the aircraft. Today we are only talking of a 787, but they need to conduct checks on all the aircraft that are in the Air India fleet.
Absolutely, very concerning. In fact, input that is coming from Hong Kong as well as Zurich. But I want to ask you, because we've been speaking to a lot of aviation experts, then they are telling us that these Dreamliner 787 should be discontinued for a while till inspection takes place. Would you hold such a review on this? Would you also demand?
Yeah, ma'am, if there are faults coming up regularly, then it is better to ground the airline and do a full check at one point of time. Because piecemeal checks may not help, because if it's like, madam, the question that you're asking me today is like a water-filled balloon. You press it at one and it will bloat at the other. So rather than doing a piecemeal job, if a thorough check once and for all, you ground the aircraft, maybe it will take some time, maybe it will create some problem in your schedules, but then at the end of the day, you will have a perfect aircraft which will inspire confidence in the traveling public.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So these are the details of, in fact, the incidents that have taken place. Thank you so much for speaking to Republic TV. Now let's get you more details about another incident that took place in Lucknow today. A Saudi airline flight from Jeddah sparked brief scare at Lucknow International Airport on Saturday morning after smoke was seen coming from aircraft's wheels shortly after landing. An official inquiry has been launched into what caused this smoke to come out. The incident occurred around the arrival of the flight SV312. The ground staff immediately called in the airport rescue and firefighting team ARFF, which responded swiftly to the situation. Now, working in coordination with the Saudi technical crew, the emergency response team managed to contain the smoke before it could cause a damage to the flight. But again, a very concerning news coming in from Uttar Pradesh this time. Spark and smoke came out of the wheel of that airplane.
लखनऊ के चौधरी चरण सिंह एयरपोर्ट पे कल के दिन सऊदी अरेबिया से एक फ्लाइट आई और उस फ्लाइट को लेकर तमाम तरीके की जानकारी आई है। हम लखनऊ एयरपोर्ट पे मौजूद हैं, तस्वीरें आपको दिखा रहे हैं जहां सऊदी एयरपोर्ट से उड़ी एक फ्लाइट, सऊदी अरेबिया एयरलाइंस की फ्लाइट SV3112 लैंड करती है। लैंडिंग के दौरान पहिए से चिंगारी और धुआं निकलता है, जिसके बाद अफरा तफरी की स्थिति में जो ग्राउंड सपोर्ट टीम है वो उस आग को बुझाती है। और ठीक हमारे आंखों के सामने हम आपको तस्वीरों में विजुअल्स दिखा रहे हैं, सऊदी अरेबिया एयरलाइंस की फ्लाइट खड़ी है। ये वही फ्लाइट है या नहीं ये हम कंफर्म कर रहे हैं, कोशिश कर रहे हैं, लेकिन सऊदी अरेबिया की एक फ्लाइट हमें हैंगर पे खड़ी हुई दिखाई रही है, जो कल के दिन सुबह तकरीबन 6:30 बजे लैंड करती है। 20 मिनट की मशक्कत के बाद जो ये पूरी समस्या थी उसको कंट्रोल में लेकर आते हैं। शनिवार की बता दें आपको, रात में 11:30 बजे जद्दा एयरपोर्ट से हज यात्रियों को लेकर ये जहाज उड़ा था और रविवार की सुबह लखनऊ पहुंचता है। लैंड करते ही पहिए में आग लग जाती है, पुशबैक कर टैक्सी वे पर इसे लाया जाता है और किसी तरीके से जो ग्राउंड सपोर्ट की टीमें होती हैं वो टीमें इस आग को अपने कंट्रोल में लेती है। रनवे पर जब वो लैंड करता है तभी धुआं उठता दिखाई देता है। हम ठीक एयरपोर्ट पर मौजूद हैं, आपको तस्वीरें दिखा रहे हैं। सऊदी अरेबिया की एक फ्लाइट हैंगर पे लगी हुई है और तमाम इन सब बातों के बीच अहमदाबाद में जो घटना घटी है, जो अथॉरिटीज है कंसर्न्ड है, अलग अलग जो टीमें हैं वो इस पूरे मामले की जांच भी कर रही हैं।
Let's tell you about another air tragedy. 4 days after the crash of the London-bound Air India flight AI-171 in Ahmedabad, which has claimed 270 lives so far, hospital authorities have confirmed that 119 victims have been identified through DNA matching, including that of former Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani. Meanwhile, a high-level committee meeting was also held at the Ministry of Home Affairs today. Civil Aviation Secretary, DGCA, BCAS official attended this very crucial meeting. In fact, this is the high-level committee that was constituted after this biggest tragedy that India has seen. All right, let me go across to my colleague Gopi, who joins us from the civil hospital in Ahmedabad and who has been tracking this story very closely. Gopi, we are learning that DNA testing is currently underway. DNA testing of former Gujarat Chief Minister is also complete. His last rites are in fact underway. But give us details about what is happening on the ground there as far as civil hospital is concerned.
Well, in fact, Akanksha, we have been seeing a constant movement of ambulances since morning, and now what we are learning from our sources, well, the press conference is underway here at another wing of the hospital, wherein they have declared that 74 bodies, in fact 74 mortal remains have been given back to the respective families. This is what is the update from civil hospital. While 119 DNA samples have been matched, they have tried to approach almost all the families, but still 3 families are unreachable. So rest of the bodies, later in the day, the family members of rest of the bodies are going to come here and they are going to collect the mortal remains from this very place. This is the mortuary complex of civil hospital. While, as you have correctly mentioned, the last rites of Vijay Rupani are underway, and his the last rite, the funeral is going to happen at the Ramnath Para crematorium at Rajkot after a short while. Back to you.
Absolutely. Gopi, keep tracking those details for us. Let me also go across to Harsha, who has been tracking the investigation into this case. Harsha, we're learning that a key meeting, in fact, took place today between BCAS, DGC, etc. What has been the outcome of the meeting? What was discussed?
So, Akanksha, till now we know that it was a first meeting, the high-level committee meeting, which has been formed to investigate into the reasons behind the crash. It was the first meeting, and this first meeting, the regulators, DGCA and BCAS have given the proper note to the Home Secretary, under whose chairmanship the committee has been formed. The note has been given regarding the 15 days. In last 15 days, what has been the technical issues and glitches in the Air India flight. Also, it has been stated that this is the entire report which has come from Air India to DGCA just 2 days back about all the incidents in the Boeing. To mention that in the span of 1 year, there have been several technical glitches reports of the Boeing 787 fleet, and that entire report has been given by regulators to the Home Secretary today. And there has been further discussion about the crash site with the Ahmedabad police as well, with the forensics team as well. But it's too early to say exactly that today some concrete discussion would would have happened. It was the first meeting where everyone have spoken about the instance, about the crash, what they have gotten from the site, and about Air India. There will be more follow-up meetings because this was the first meeting. The report has to come out in 3 months. We can say this was the start of the investigation. So it will take some time for more news to come out of this meeting. But yes, we can say that now all these stakeholders in this meeting have started investigation at their level. Be it DGCA, be it EICAS, be it the forensics team, the security team, the Ministry of Civil Aviation officials, and also the forensics as well. Back to you.
Absolutely. Probe is underway and more such meetings will continue to happen over the next 3 months till a report is submitted. Thank you, Harsha, for all the details. We'll keep coming back to you for more on this. Even as we speak, the last rites of former Gujarat Chief Minister and senior BJP leader Vijay Rupani, who tragically died in the recent Air India crash. In fact, it began today in Rajkot with full state honours. The identity of Rupani was confirmed through DNA testing 3 days after this devastating crash of Air India took place, and the test results arrived at 11:10 a.m. yesterday. After that, the family members took away his mortal remains, and the last rites are currently underway. Here's Bo.
Former Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani was amongst the 241 passengers who lost their lives in the devastating crash. Their stories cut short and futures erased in the blink of an eye. It was on a Sunday, 3 days after the crash, that Vijay Rupani's body was formally identified. DNA samples were used for identification, a painstaking process that underscores the severity of the disaster. Authorities confirmed the news, and Gujarat was plunged into mourning. A one-day state mourning is being observed in honor of the late former Gujarat Chief Minister. The mortal remains of Vijay Rupani was brought to Rajkot at around 2 p.m, where his final journey took place. The funeral was conducted with full state honours. It was a heart-wrenching scene when Rupani's wife Anjali Rupani broke down, bidding an emotional farewell to her husband. Gujarat's Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel paid his respects to the late leader earlier today, laying a wreath in front of Mr. Rupani's body. Gujarat mourns the loss of a man who once led the state with dedication and vision. In a statement, Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel expressed profound sorrow over the untimely demise of his predecessor and said that this is an irreparable loss, not just to the state of Gujarat, but to the entire nation. Gujarat now stands united in grief. The legacy of Vijay Rupani will forever remain etched in the hearts of the people he served.
Now we're shifting our focus to Iran and Israel. US Embassy in Israel suffered a minor damage after being hit by Iranian missile as military conflict with Israel entered its 4th day on Monday. The video emerging from the building showed broken glasses and window panes. No US personnel was injured in this incident. However, the US Embassy in the country and its consulate remains closed today due to the ongoing shelter-in-place order. Now, a day earlier, US President Donald Trump had warned Iran against striking any of the US assets, threatening that full might of the armed forces will be on them if they do so. Well, let me go across to the former media coordinator to the Prime Minister. Thank you so much for speaking to Republic TV. We are seeing attack and counter-attack between Israel and Iran in the last few days. And a day after Donald Trump warned Iran, we are seeing that the US Embassy in Israel was hit. There was minor damage, but how would you assess this?
Hi, Achna. Thank you for having me. What you just shown on the screen is a very minor damage to the embassy in Tel Aviv. As long as no American personnel has been hurt. So yeah, I don't believe there will be any response from the Americans regarding that issue.
Absolutely. And in the last few days, we've also seen US distancing itself as far as this conflict is concerned. But again, we are saying that despite that, there has been an attack on the United States. How would you respond to this?
What do you mean there has been an attack on the United States? In what form?
What I meant is that in the last few days, in fact, US has distanced itself from the conflict. Comment had also come from Donald Trump. He had said that he has nothing to do with the attack on Iran. But again, we are saying that Iran, despite those distancing by the United States, has attacked the US embassy there. How do you assess US being part of this entire conflict that is going on in West Asia?
So the Iranians are just indiscriminately firing ballistic missiles towards Israeli heavy populated areas. And it happens to be that the U.S. embassy was right in Tel Aviv on the beach. So yeah, it's really not something that I think the American will take it seriously. But yeah, we are hoping that soon the Americans will join forces and help us to basically finish the job at the uranium enrichment facilities in Iran, which this is basically the entire point of this operation, to prevent Iran from getting enough enrichment or uranium enrichment in order to reach a bomb. And we also hearing about the signaling of Iran of leaving the IAEA safeguard agreements, which also will give a legitimacy to Israel and other Israel allies to really strike Iran once they will actually leave this agreement.
Right.
It just goes to shows you that they're not acting rationally. They're acting after Israel's strike, which was very precise strikes across the nation in many facilities.
Absolutely. So we are seeing attack and counter-attack as far as Israel and Iran is concerned. Thank you so much for speaking to Republic TV. Now, the deadly conflict between Israel and Iran has entered the fourth day, with both sides firing new waves of attacks overnight. Israeli Air Force launched waves of strikes overnight, targeting approximately 100 military targets in Isfahan in central Iran. 50 fighter jets and aircrafts identified and struck missiles, storage site, surface-to-surface launchers that were ready to launch towards the state of Israel. Now, despite this, Iran's missile managed to breach Israel's defense system. We witnessed scenes of destructions and anxiety in Tel Aviv as Israelis woke up to the latest wave of the Iranian strikes. Now, early Monday, that is this morning, strikes have hit on the Israeli oil refinery and damaged the parts of the power grid as well. All right, so this is as far as the conflict in Israel and Iran is concerned. In fact, a big claim has come from Israel that they have destroyed more than 20 surface-to-surface missiles last night before they could be launched towards Israel. Now we're shifting our focus. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will land in Canada today to attend the G7 summit after he was invited by the Canada Prime Minister. This marks Modi's first visit to Canada since diplomatic relations between New Delhi and Ottawa turned frosty over the killing of Khalistani separatist Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Now, the Prime Minister will exchange views with the leaders of G7 countries, others invited outreach countries and the heads of the international organization on the crucial global issues including energy security, technology and innovation. Now, the Prime Minister will also hold several bilateral meetings on the sidelines of the summit. He will also be meeting with the Canadian counterpart Mark Carney on the sidelines of the G7 summit. So all eyes will be on Canada the next two days. Prime Minister will be there. He will be holding the bilateral talks. He will also be attending this, discussing issues as far as other countries are also concerned. This is all we could pack for you in this bulletin. We'll be back tomorrow with more stories for 6 at 6. Keep watching Republic TV.